It's Monday, March 9th, and you guys, we are in the last day of Prestige-Athon, so we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope everybody is ready for a good week, ready to get going, ready and raring to move. I see Thaisa is here. Hello, my lady. Oh, Michelle is here too. Good morning. Oh, Michelle, is it sunny where you are? I'm so happy to hear that. Oh, Laura Rang, thank you. Good morning, Kat. Happy Monday, you guys. It is unusually and unseasonably warm where I am lately, but we might get some rain today. So I'm looking forward to that. What's going on in your world? I hope it's not too crazy, too cold, I don't know. I know there's been so much crazy weather and so much craziness going on. So we're going to chill this morning. We're going to hang out, get our week started right, talk about jewelry, talk about beads. What better way to start your week? Good morning, everybody. Who else is here? I see Connie is here from Cleveland, Monica from Rhode Island. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Francie in KC is here. Ellen in New Jersey. Tina is here. Hello. Kim Caldwell, all you guys, my regular morning friends are here. Ruth Alice is here. Good morning. Oh, thank you so much. This is kind of a fun little tie-dye vibe. I love me some tie-dye, so I'm sporting it today. Good morning, BJ. Connie says it's finally warming up in Cleveland. Monica says it's finally in the 50s and sunny today. That's wonderful. Linda says snow is melting like crazy, finally warming up. She's in Boston. Jane from Long Island is here. Mary from Oklahoma. Kim Caldwell says it's rainy in South Texas and we are thankful for a little drought relief. Yes, amen. Kim, we're supposed to get some rain today. We need it bad too, really bad. Hi, Santa Barbara girl. LJ Hill is here as well. Good morning. Oh my gosh, who else? You guys, thanks for being here. Debbie is here. Good morning. Daisy is here. Sunny in mid-Michigan this morning. That's good. Gail C says, happy Monday, everyone. Thank you guys for being here and being so cheerful. If you are watching at artbeads.com/live, that's the best place to watch the show live because we can talk to each other, hang out. Michelle and Thaisa are here to help with questions in the comments. Yeah, we're going to have some fun this morning. Let's see, a couple more comments. Hannah says, hi, very good day to be inside because they have bad snowy weather. Well, Hannah, I'm sorry. You are the one, Hannah, from Iceland, I believe. So I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe you'll get some warm temps. I don't know when it starts to warm up there. Connie from Georgia says very warm in the high 70s. Yep. Thank you, LJ Hill. This was made with one of the bead strand assortments last spring, I think, and this was one of my favorites. I was cleaning up the studio this weekend. I found some necklaces that were hiding in a pile. I'm like, ooh, that goes with this color here. So I'm going to wear that one. Cheryl from New Mexico, good morning. Let's see. And Michelle is reminding you to shop the show. That is another benefit of watching at artbeads.com/live. There's that little shopping bag icon. You can shop the show while you watch. We don't go away. We just get a little smaller on the screen. You can still hear us and see us. So feel free to shop away while you watch this morning. Hi, Bobby. Thank you for being here. Bonnie is here. Gail is talking to Hannah. Cheryl is here. Oh my gosh, you guys. Thank you guys. Sharon in AZ, bring some rain here. Yeah, send it this way. If you guys don't want it, Sharon and I in Arizona will take it. All right, you guys. So, a couple of things. Well, a few things. We've got a lot to do today. This is the very last day of Prestige-Athon. We have been having a blast celebrating one of our beloved brands, Prestige. You may know, maybe you don't, what all has been happening there. So we've had a sale, and it's going on through the end of today, up to 35% off of Prestige, which is amazing because you can get things a little bit more affordably. Prestige is a high quality brand, lots of beautiful shiny and sparkly things. So it's great to incorporate those into your designs when you can. We've also been celebrating the brand new crystal innovations. I've got a few to show you here, but if you want a deep dive into those, go back and watch Becky Dahl's show from Thursday. She did a deep dive. So if you really want to get into the new colors and the new finishes and all of that, she did a wonderful show on Thursday. So you can just go to artbeats.com/live, go back to Thursday's show. You can always replay shows and you can shop them when you replay them, just as a little FYI. Also, there is an offer for free USA and Canadian shipping for orders over $29. That's not hard to achieve. We've had a deal for a while of orders over $49, but over $29 is a great screaming deal for free shipping. And there's a few gifts with purchase. So I'm actually going to flip the camera down because I've got a few things on my and I want to show you. So I mentioned the crystal, the new crystal innovations from Prestige. I thought I would show you these. I've got a sample box and I wanted to show you these new little chatons. So these are the Paradise Luxe chatons, and these are in beautiful purple, blue, and green. And these are chatons. They have that that colored backing. They come to a point. These can be put into settings and you can do all kinds of beautiful things. Yes, Easter for sure, Santa Barbara girl. And look at the luminousness, the luminosity, the I don't know. They're very luminous and they're so gorgeous. So these are some of the new innovations from new crystal innovations from Prestige. So I thought I would show you those. They are really, really gorgeous and I couldn't stop staring at them. Now, gifts with purchase. I'm not sure if we still have this. This was while supplies last. This is a thank you iron-on in all of those pretty little flat backs. This is with any purchase. I don't know if they are still available, but this was our gift with purchase, any purchase. And then if that wasn't enough, there is still this gift with purchase, which is when you purchase $75 or more, doesn't have to be Prestige, you get this lovely little Prestige mix. So that's a little pink flat back there. These are some beautiful Baroque pearls. There are these incredible, talk about Easter or pink or spring. Look at this pink round, so beautiful, faceted. There's some large bicones. That's one of my favorites. And some tiny little creamy pearls. So pretty. So this is your gift with a $75 purchase. This will come in a little bag. So you'll be able to take these, incorporate this into a design, or you could make some earrings or something. So pretty. Now, over the weekend, we introduced some more deals. And that is a gift with purchase for $99 and more or more. And these are mystery mixes. So all of these mystery mixes might be a little bit different. So I'm telling you, $99 or more could get you this. Look at this pendant. This is huge and it's weighty, but look at that sparkle. Look at those facets. This is Prestige quality. That large hole that's kind of beveled makes this so easy for you to connect to whatever you're trying to connect to. You can even use jump rings. really with very limited, possibility of damaging unless you're using a really small one for it. But these mystery mixes are amazing. Look at this. This is a square chaton. Look at that. It looks like a diamond. Like, I would love to wear that on my ring finger. Woohoo. And look at these beautiful pearls in this beautiful saturated pink. I mean, you guys, these are amazing. Oh, and look at this. So this is just one of them. Then I'll show you, there's a couple other examples. I'll show you just so you can see these. So, I mean, we are so excited about this Prestige-Athon, but it is coming to an end today, at the end of today. Okay, OMG, this is a chaton and it's huge. So this could be in your mystery mix. This is one of those, I forget what this bead shape is called, but it's like a wavy coin and it's got this beveling on both sides. Super pretty. So what Julie's saying, I'm waiting for my mix now. I ordered the flat bracelet stuff from the other day. Julie P, hi. I know the time change got me too, girl. Oma, that large pendant I see being used to make a spider. Oh my gosh. Yes, please. And here's another one, you guys. So just some variation. You'll get this mystery pack. Could be different for you. But all of these mystery packs will go in your bag, with $99 or more. So you get the $75 or more. Kind of everybody will get this one, but then the 99 or more, you get a, kind of a variable. Okay, one more deal. Over the weekend, we introduced the Hot Fix tool. So the Hot Fix applicator. And this also comes along with it. So it's a special deal for the applicator, and you get one of these flat back little tubes. And these, you guys, I have a couple of these stashed, and actually mine's pretty used up because I always go to this little package when I need a little bit of sparkle to add to a ring or to a design of some sort. I put these on beads. I put these on glass, on wood, on all kinds of things. And with the Hot Fix applicator, you've got lots of possibilities for applying to fabric, all kinds of things. I always think back to Becky putting together her Swiftie outfit for the concert, for the Taylor Swift tour. She did a whole project with the Hot Fix. So I don't have the Hot Fix applicator to show you, but this would come with it and it's a screaming deal. So it's kind of a neat thing to have in your tool arsenal if you want something else fun to create with. So this will come with it. That's another deal. So all of the Prestige deals end at the end of today. So I just want to make sure you guys know that. Don't dilly-dally on the deals. This is a piece that I made on Friday with a ton of Prestige. And I did post in the Facebook group the finished project, but I did a little Prestige crystal butterfly at the back. I added some of the Starman butterfly beads, but all of the pearls and these crystal rounds and the butterfly beads here are all Prestige. And this art bead sterling pendant, perfect for spring. So it's a little bit of an asymmetrical design. I actually left out a bead, but it was a happy accident because it's really made for more of an interesting asymmetrical design. So this is a fun design. If you want to go back and watch Friday's Art Beads Fab Friday show, we made that with Prestige and we had some fun. So you guys, I want to show you a few things. So I've got some product to show you, some projects that I completed, and we're going to do a project. So I thought let's first look at some things that I want to make sure you know about from Prestige. So I was not aware, and I had to, kind of dig through to find these. But I did not know that Prestige made these amazing pave ball beads. So these are a great little accent piece for a necklace or a bracelet. They can do so many fun things for you. I grabbed one of the jet and one of the crystal. And, I've seen a lot of pave beads. I've seen a lot of sort of rhinestone crystal-y beads. These are a fine quality. Like, these are really, really nice. This does not go on the little kids bracelet that you put together. I don't know, maybe it does, but this is really a nice high-end little pave bead. So if you're looking for something fancy like this, Prestige makes these, and we've got them. So I thought I would show those to you for those of you that love a good pave bead, love a good sparkly accent. Honestly, you could wire wrap a couple of these and just put them on an ear wire. You've got some super sparkly earrings to wear for the season, for the spring and the summer. I also wanted to show you these. I had not seen these before. I did not know these existed. And this is on clearance. This version is on clearance. So these are little mini rhinestone rondelles. And what's different about these is they are set in plastic. So most of the time when you get these little rhinestone rondelles, they're in metal. And again, I didn't know Prestige did such a thing, but these are super cool. So it's kind of hard to see that plastic look, but it's kind of a clear plastic, and you can see the silver of the backing of the rhinestone showing through there. And this one happens to be color 4720, and it's a pink color. So these are on clearance. This particular color is on clearance. So this would be really fun as a spacer if you don't want the silver or the gold metal, but you just want a little bit of sparkle. So that sparkle just kind of floats in between your beads. So I thought these were really cool. I think there's several colors. I also grabbed the jet version, which is maybe a little bit easier to see. So you can see those little crystal rhinestones are set in these little plastic rondelles, and they're super fun. So that's going to kind of be invisible except for the sparkle. So you could even use those with those pave balls, just all kinds of cool things that you could do. Santa Barbara Girl says the clear plastic allows light and it blends with any color. I agree. And I think you guys, I think these are sold individually, although I'm not certain. Maybe Michelle or Thaisa can confirm that, because I got a few so that you could see what they would all look like as a grouping. But they are so, so cool. I had never seen these. So the pink ones are on clearance. The jet ones are not. But I wanted to make sure you saw those cool Prestige products. And then one more, and we're going to work with a version of this today. So this one is on clearance as well. And I thought this was super cool. So this is a one hole hexagon spike bead. So I'll show you, I'll flip it to the side. You can see it's got a spike on top. And the top of this has an incredible finish on it. And when you flip it over, it's got kind of a clear back, and it's a single hole bead. So it's just really interesting. It's just a really cool bead. It's 5.5 millimeters. And so if you were to put these on a bracelet and have that bracelet be somewhat fitting to your wrist, that little spiky vibe would stick up. And they're not spiky like they're going to hurt you, but they're spiky cool. And these are a single hole. There are some 2 holes I'm going to work with today that are really incredible. Those are sold individually. Okay, thank you, Michelle. So the little spacers, the little rhinestone rondelles are sold individually, but they're cool. They're interesting. So this is an interesting thing too. I thought I would alert you to those so that you could see them and maybe get some of those on their way to you. Now, a couple of things that I did in advance of the show. I wanted to use some Prestige bicones in an earring design. And I'm a big bicone fan. I think bicones are one of the most popular bead shapes that are out there. And so I put together these fun chandelier, boho kind of style earrings. And these little bicones are 5,000, the color 5,000, round light turquoise. And actually, I'm sorry, there's bicones and rounds in here. So I used rounds and bicones. So I've got 2 different shapes. Oma, I'm not sure if they come in different sizes. The sizes I had, I grabbed 2 colors of, but maybe Michelle or Thaisa can let us know if there's other sizes. So I've got some 4mm rounds and they are interspersed in here. And then I've also got 4mm bicones, both in that light turquoise color. And I took the Art Beads sterling silver crescent pendants. These have 9 loops on them, and I just skipped over a few of the loops and I created these little cascades of wire wrap beads. So this is a great way to use your prestige crystals in a design like this, where you can show off the beauty of the crystals. The light's going to come through them, and there's tons of colors. So if you don't like this, this blue, this light turquoise blue, there's tons of other colors available for you. So I thought I would show those off because I really was looking forward to making them. And I also used some chain, you guys. So this chain is a sterling silver cable chain sold by the foot. It is a sterling silver, so it's going to match up nicely to that sterling silver component. And I used these super fun ear wires that I love, that have a nice big loop on them. So this is just a fun earring. Thanks, Julie P. So, just a little something to show off your prestige crystals. And one more thing I'm going to show you, because this is one of my favorite kinds of beads to work with. I love working with a 2-hole bead, regardless of the size, regardless of the shape. And I thought I would show you these because we're going to work with these in a bracelet design in just a minute. But I also like to work with these for earrings. And I think these are really something fun for earrings. They're a nice size for bracelets or earrings. This is a Prestige 5625. It's a 10mm 2-hole stairway bead in the color peridot. So it's a square and it's got this incredible stairway faceting on it. To me, it's kind of like a beveling. This is the closest to beveling, but it's a stairway, and it has, you can see it's kind of like steps. So it's slightly curved on the top, and it is a 2-hole bead. So you can see it's got those 2 holes. And I love the peridot color from Prestige. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous color. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. So this is a beautiful bead. Love, love, love it. And I only had one of these little pendants, so I only made one sample for you, but this is one of the things I like to do with a 2-hole bead for an earring. So I've got a little Prestige elliptic, say that 10 times fast with only a cup of coffee, 1 cup of coffee. This is a 9mm elliptic cut crystal pendant in the amethyst color. And I loved just taking some milky white seed beads. So they are a Toho 11O. And I just used a little bit of 24 gauge wire and put that through, made a loop at the bottom, added this pendant. And so you've got this just really fun and interesting earring design. You could go, use less seed beads on the bottom, make a smaller loop at the bottom. There's so many ways that you can do this, but I thought this was a fun way to show you how you could use these 2-hole beads in earrings. It's just one of my favorite things. Thank you, Julie. So this is just a fun idea for you. And I only had one of those little elliptic pendants. Look at that little beauty. So, and I used a jump ring to attach. You could do all kinds of things, but look at that sparkle, and that purple and green together is divine. So those items are in the shopping bag if you guys are interested in those and want to get some of those home to you. But we're gonna make something, you guys, and we're gonna make a double strand bracelet using these Prestige 2-hole beads. Now, I love a 2-hole bead. I didn't really know about all the 2-hole beads that Prestige has, so I was so excited to explore that with the Prestige-Athon. So this is another version, and I don't think I gave you the measurements of the green one. So that peridot one is a 10mm. This is also 10mm, and this is crystal copper. And I don't know if there's one more word in that name, but this is a 2-hole, as the other one is. Nice, generous holes on this bead. And this is that same stairway cut. Really, really cool. Nice. It's the same on both sides. It's just a really gorgeous bead. What is Julie Newton saying here? Well, you're great, Deb. I'm on a bead diet. It doesn't work either. Oh, I know. I hate being on a bead diet. I mean, I hate being on a diet, period, but a bead diet's like the worst diet. So this is pretty. But I also was not aware of this. So we looked at that little spike bead a little while ago, and it was a single hole. But you guys, there's a 2-hole version of this bead, and this one is larger. So this one is on clearance, believe it or not. I was shocked. This is 7.5mm, and it's 2-hole. It's a hexagon spike, and it's absolutely spectacular. So look at the shine, look at that point. And again, it's not sharp. It's just pointy, looks like a little pyramid. For my girls that love Egyptian designs, I know you're out there like me. This one is so fun. So I thought these 2 beads looked really beautiful together. And I love this color combination any time of the year. Now, this could go fall, but it could also be spring. It could be summer. It could be whatever you want. And I'm going to throw one more idea at you before we make. There are also these little smaller hexagon spikes in crystal. So you might like more of a subtle version or a crystal version, and that would look equally pretty with these beads. You could do a combination of hexagon beads. You could do these 2 together. And remember, we got the green ones over here. Let me pull that one back out. We've got these 2. So you could do this version and this version, which would be super pretty. So those square crystals can be used to make our Emerald City bracelet. Okay. I don't know about the Emerald City bracelet, Michelle, but I'm intrigued by that. So, okay, you guys, so we're going to do a double strand with these two colors. I'm in love. I got it started because I knew we had a really busy show today and I wasn't sure if we would be able to do the whole thing. A 2-strand bracelet can take some time, and I'm going to grab a sip of coffee. Julie Newton, I don't know if there's pink available. Maybe Michelle or Thaisa could check that out. Now, I also, this is my style, you guys. So I know this isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I am using 2 metallics for all of my spacing here. So I'm going to do spacers here. And I'm going to use seed beads and demi rounds. So I know a lot of you guys are not size 15 fans. You could certainly use 11/0s here, but I like the dimension that this creates. So I'm going to use these galvanized matte Starlight 15s, and they have that really cool matte finish on them. So they really pop in here. And then I'm going to use these rose gold. So I think it was Santa Barbara Girl. I saw your comment a while back about rose gold. We are going to incorporate some rose gold here. So these are perma-finish galvanized rose gold demi rounds. So these are that half seed bead size in size 11. I've got some on my mat here, and I've got some 19-strand beading wire. So what I did was I started putting the beads onto my wire, and what I'm thinking is all of the larger beads are going to be at the top of the wrist, and then we'll finish with these further at the ends, but they will also be in between our squares. So all I'm doing is a simple stringing design. And you guys know it doesn't have to be a hard technique to be a really fancy design. So we're creating this with some really fancy beads that will allow us to have a really beautiful design, but we're not going to have to strain our brain too much to create it. So let me get that guy out of the way. So I'm just putting one of those gold beads in between 2 of our demi rounds. So let me show you what this looks like. So it's just going to sit right there in between the beads, but look at how that just adds some interest and some dimension. You've got 2 metallics, but one looks really different and one really pops. Thanks, Kim Caldwell. And fancy is your middle name. Thanks, Texas Tracy. I don't always feel very fancy, but I kind of am fancy. Now, the hexagon beads, one little tip here is you have to be aware of how you're stringing these on because they're not the same on both sides. One side is flat, one side has that point to it. So just a word to the wise, if you're stringing these on, just make sure you're aware of which of the 2 holes you're going through because you want to make sure you have all of your beads orienting the right way. So I'm going to double check, make sure that my bead is going on the right way. And then I'm going to put on my seed beads. And you guys know, I love working with these small beads, but again, you can use something different. If you would like, you can use 11/0s, and you might choose different metal tones too. So you could do a silver here. You could do all kinds of different variations, but I liked using 2 different metallics here. It just makes this bracelet a little bit more interesting. So I've used up all of my squares, and I'm going to put 3 of these hex beads on either side. Now this might be a little bit too long. I'm going to put everything on and then we'll determine the length once we have the others on this side, that side, and then we'll start stringing the other end of the bracelet. So I'm working from the package. So I'm going to take my bead stopper. This is another thing that's really helpful when you're making a bracelet like this, a double strand. You're going to need a bead stopper or some way to stop your beads so that they don't go flying everywhere. So let me grab my cutter here. I'm going to cut from the package and, ooh, sorry about that. And I'm going to start working on this end, just putting on these other beads here. So my little hex beads, and just double checking that they're going in the right direction because I would hate to have them going in the wrong direction. And then we have to fix. So one more, two more of these. And let's just make sure everything looks right. You can touch the tips of those beads to make sure that you've got them going on the right direction. I love these beads. I did not know the depth of Prestige until I really started to put together a project for today. And I found these 2-hole beads. I knew they did a lot of cool things, but I now am a fan forever because of the beautiful 2-hole beads. All right, so let me grab my other stopper. I think it's going to be too big, but let's see. Oh, that's actually pretty good. So, okay, so this is what we're looking like. We've got 3 here at the end, and then we start adding the larger beads and then go back to these. Julie says, believe me, I know I just ordered a bunch the other day. Julie, I understand you. I feel you, girl. All right, so now we're going to go through the other hole. And, you know, these beads aren't lined up perfectly, these holes, because some are smaller than the others. But this is going to look cool. This is going to look interesting. So this is what I do when I'm working on a 2-hole design. I've got a stopper over here and I've got a stopper down here. I've got more wire. So I'm going to take my stopper and put it pretty close to the end of my wire so that I'm giving myself some room here to get my other strand through. So I'm going to come in with my wire off of the spool. So I'm working off the spool again. And then all we're adding this time are the seed beads. And we're doing the same pattern because we need the same spacing for this piece. So our little trio of the 2 different colors. And then I'm going to go through that next bead in the bracelet. And, oh wait, I skipped one. All right, so I skipped one there. All right, so skipped one. Let's put it through the correct bead. There we go. So this is also easy to do when everything looks the same and your beads start to move around. So there we go. That looks fabulous. I love that. Thank you, Julie. I love, like I said, I love working with 2-hole beads. It's something that I just really enjoy. And I like trying to challenge myself to do some different things with them. And just make it something interesting. And this one is not small, like if you were to use like super duos or something like that, but this is kind of a smaller bracelet than what I might do with some larger 2-hole beads. Like I like to work with really big 2-hole beads too. So this is kind of still a small bracelet by my standards. beads, but I love them all. I love all of them. So now I'm going up into this larger bead, and I'm going to show you this will still work. So here's how that's going to look. So the spacer beads are going to be really nice in line, and then here they're just going to splay out just a little bit because the holes aren't perfectly lined up, but they're still pretty good. Like they're still pretty easily compatible. So you will know very quickly when you start to play around with this kind of a design if your beads are going to work together. Thank you, Bonnie. So this is just, this is just a really cool way to use prestige to showcase your prestige beads. And, if you were to put this out on your table at a craft fair or, a summer bazaar, spring bazaar, this would fetch a nice pretty penny because these are all nice quality beads. So, I don't always advocate using all high quality beads, kind of stretch out your budget a little bit, but sometimes you just got to do it. Sometimes it just works. So look how pretty that looks. Just a really cool color combination. Gina says, I was wondering if the second strand had longer seed bead sequence between each would be loopy and make a scalloped edge for a necklace or choker. You could absolutely do that. So sometimes, if you're not sure what Gina is saying there, sometimes you can intentionally misshape a design. So like in this case, we're trying to keep everything in a straight line. Like we're trying to make a symmetrical bracelet. We're trying to keep everything all nice and together and in line, but you can intentionally change the shape by adding more spacers. So if I were to take this bottom row and add some additional beads, you could misshape that and make it curved, make the whole piece kind of go a little misshapen. And I've done that with earrings. I've done it with bracelets too, I think. Maybe we could do a design like that coming up. Like we could find some cool beads to work with and then create something interesting. That's a great idea, Gina. So, Oma, question for Deb. Can you use this design by replacing the largest square bead with gem duos? I think you could. Gem duos are going to be smaller, obviously, but the hex bead would then be your larger bead. And you'll have to play around a little bit. Since I haven't tried it myself, I don't know if you would need more seed beads in between to make sure that your bracelet isn't too wonky. But I think it could work. I don't have a gem duo handy to take a look at that option, but I don't see why you couldn't try that. I bet it would work. You just might have to adjust kind of what you do with the spacing. Maybe larger seed beads, maybe a longer pattern of seed beads. So it's worth a shot. Get out your beads and give it a try. There, 2-hole beads, that's the thing about 2-hole beads, is you can play around with lots of different ways to create something. Look at how this is looking. I am in love with this piece. I am truly in love. These Prestige 2-hole beads are my new favorite. I am bonkers about them. So I've almost got all the way through, you guys. So we're getting there. And I love the idea of the other colors. So I showed you those green ones, the peridot version of the squares. You could pair those up with the crystal hexes. There's just so many things you could do. And you could also pull in other 2-hole beads, as we've been talking about. And you could also pull in a single hole bead. So you could, if you wanted to, grab a bead. You just have to make sure that your beading wire can go through whatever bead you decide to put in the center. So you could grab a single hole bead, but you would have to put both sides of your wire through that single hole bead. That's an option. And you could use Prestige. I bet you could get 2 strands through most Prestige beads. Most of the, maybe like a 4 millimeter, 6 millimeter, 8 millimeter. I bet you could. So that's another way to do this if you don't want all 2-hole beads. All right, everything is coming together here. And I just have one more 2-hole bead to go through. And then I'm going to pick up all these seed beads because these will inevitably go everywhere. So I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. Thank you, Santa Barbara girl. You know, there are days when I make things and I'm like, but this one I really, really like. I'm tickled because I like it so much. All right, so I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to pick these up. So we're going to get all of these seed beads off the mat. And you guys, if you do like 15s as your spacers, thank you for the hearts. If you do like 15s, this is a great color. It's gold, but it has that matte vibe, so it's really interesting. It's a great spacer to have in your arsenal. And then these demi rounds in this rose gold is just really lovely. Ooh, and I'm just spilling these guys everywhere. So I see one of the galvanized is over there. So let's put that one over there. Let me pick up. These are just all over my table already. So let's pick all of these up. I swear it wouldn't be a day without seed beads or spacer beads or something, some kind of beads all over the floor. I need to do my weekly vacuum. Karen says, I just did a meh bracelet. I love the center work I did, but the sides stink. Yeah, sometimes, sometimes it just doesn't come out, that great, or you need to rework it maybe. All right, so now you guys, I'm going to cut from the package again. So I've got a lot of wire here, more than I need, but I always like to do that. You guys probably heard me say it when I'm teaching, because I don't want to run out. That's just like my worst fear, because it's just a bummer when that happens. So I do have a lot of extra on this side. So let me trim that up. And I save all of my extras in case I need it for something, a little scrap for something. All right, so let me put this one on this end. All right, so let's take a look at this. So 2 bead stoppers, and I'm actually going to push those down to the end of this side of the bracelet. Or you can actually just put one in. I'm going to do that because I want to try this on my wrist. So I'm going to take this side and add a bead stopper. Okay, so such a beautiful bracelet, Deb. Love the color combination. Thanks, Lynn. So look, this is so pretty. Oh my gosh, this is look at the sparkle of those beads. So showing you what I was saying about the spacing here. So if you wanted to intentionally make this like into more of a necklace vibe, you could put more beads on one side of your design. So you could put more spacers in here and it's going to force the piece into a curve. So that's one thing you can do. Other things you can do here are you could space with more beads, space with less beads. You could do all one color of seed bead instead of the two colors I did. But I think the two colors actually makes this a little bit more interesting, but there's so many variations, you guys. So that's what I like to talk about on Mondays, is all the various designing that you can do. Now, I'm going to put a 2-hole clasp on this. Now, you don't have to. So you could take both of your wires and you could attach them to a lobster. You could attach them to a toggle. You could attach them to whatever you would like. I'm going to use one of these. This one is probably a little bit bigger than I would like to use, but it's fine. It will work just fine. I think, this is just for me. If I were selling this piece, I would probably go a little bit smaller. But I like this because it's going to allow me to still do my technique of French wire. If I was going to finish this with a single hole toggle and put both of my ends through, or a single hole lobster claw, I probably wouldn't be able to use French wire because two wires that are covered in French wire wouldn't really fit. So I'm going to take one end here, and I actually need to pull one of these wires out a little further. So just want to give myself plenty of wire at both ends. So I'm going to do that first, and then remember, the bead stoppers are helpful because when you've got 4 strands of wire that you're working with, it can really be challenging. So I've got one of my stoppers on one wire, and I'm putting it a little bit further up so it's out of my way. Next thing I want to do is grab my crimps and my French wire. So I'm going to be working with the Beadsmith French wire today. Actually, you know what? I think I might work with the Beadalon because I like the color of that one a little bit better for this. I'm sorry, I'm grabbing stuff behind me, so my voice is trailing off. So I'm going to be working with the Beadalon French wire today. And I'm just going to cut 4 pieces because I've got 4 wires to contend with. 2 on one side, 2 on the other. So I'm going to take and cut about 1 1/4 inches. And then I'm going to cut that in half. And one might be a little bit longer. And Patricia says, this bracelet is just beautiful. I love the colors, but would like to know how much drape a bracelet should have. I think it's preference, Patricia. This particular bracelet, I feel like would have less drape because you want your pieces, your hexes to kind of sit nicely on your wrist. But because the other bead is pulling it into place, I honestly think this could have a little bit of drape to it. And it's kind of a more structured bracelet is kind of the way I would describe it. So, but it's personal preference. And that's where like you might want to try it on you and see how you like it, how it looks best, fiddle around with maybe the, the spacing in between, how many beads you have at the end, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to get all of my pieces of French wire to be the same. So I'm trimming them and I've got 4 pieces. So this is how I will finish this. So first I'm going to grab one side of the clasp, and then you're going to need 4 crimps. And because this is a 19 strand beading wire, I'm using a size 2 crimp. You can always check your packaging to tell you if you're using Beadalon. You can always see the sizing for your crimp tubes on the package. So I'm going to take one side. I've got my other side secured, and I've got my my bead stopper down here as well. I'm going to put that first crimp tube on and the piece of French wire, and then I'm stringing on the clasp, and then I'm taking that wire, putting it back through the crimp tube and the first bead. And I'm doing that so that you have a cleaner place to cut off your wire. So it's just going to be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't really change the security of this or anything. It just gives you a little bit nicer of a finish. Now, crimping in a project like this becomes a little bit challenging. So we did a finishing class. We're going to do a part 2 to that coming up. But makes it a little bit more challenging because you've got 2 wires that you're working with here. So I'm going to pull my wire away. I've got that wire in my hand. I'm going to trim that excess off. And now I've got one side of one end attached. And then I'm going to take off the bead stopper at this end. So that's now, that bead stopper is no longer needed because we're going to attach over here as well. Now we've still got a stopper at this end, and we want to keep that there. So I'm going to grab my next crimp, my next piece of French wire. And it's sometimes hard to see that little opening of your French wire, but trust me, you can get that on there. And I like the French wire for those who are seeing that for the first time because it just adds a little bit of oomph to my wire. So now I've got my crimp, my French wire, my clasp. And I'm going to just pull that French wire away, and then I'm going to go through my crimp, through that first bead, and I'm going to pull until that French wire is down next to the crimp. Okay. Now this is a little challenging. I need to get in there with my crimping pliers to crimp. And that is a little bit hard. So you just have to manipulate. Once you get the back channel crimped, you're in pretty good shape. Then you can probably get your crimping pliers off to the side and crimp on the other side. So, classy way to finish this bracelet. Thanks, Texas Tracy. I just think the French wire just adds a nice little finishing touch. So now, we've got one end of our bracelet attached. So Chantilly says, does that clasp come in silver tone? I'm pretty sure it does, but maybe Michelle and Thaisa can confirm that. So here's the thing about these clasps. You want to make sure that at one end, so one end, this is your top, and one end, that little flat end is at the bottom, because these have to come together. They have to come together to slide and to secure. And by the way, there's a little magnet in here that will hold that and keep it a little bit more secure. So it will slide in, and then it will kind of, you can feel the magnet kind of catch. How would be close this bracelet with a toggle? So all you would do with a toggle is you would attach your two sides same way I did here, but you would just attach to one hole. You may or may not be able to use French wire. It just depends on the size of the hole on your toggle. But you could just take both wires, attach to your toggle, and go to the other side, attach to the other end. So I'm going to do this side now. And I want to make sure that I have my closure going in the right direction. So checking my beads, I feel all the points of those hexes facing upwards. And now I'm going to take my, my stopper off of both wires and put them down on one. So I'm over here. And then I don't want to crimp in a straight line. So I'm twisting my bracelet around a little bit. And I'm going to grab my my crimp tube and my piece of French wire and put that down onto that bead. And then I'm double, triple checking my clasp. So now I've got it flipped over. I like this orientation. No, I don't. Let me flip it this way. There we go. So I've got this in the proper space. So now, move this over. So now I'm going to take this guy, put that through, and I'm going to change the orientation again because I just did that over there to make sure that I had everything in the right spot. So now, going through that bead again and pulling on that clasp. And I want to make sure that the wire has a gap, no gaps, but also that it has some flexibility. So I'm letting gravity do its thing and then twisting that bracelet so that it's giving itself the freedom of movement as well. So I'm holding on to my wire. And when you've got these clasps with magnets, you may also have to hold that guy. So just going to get that in there, get that out of the way, and give that a crimp. And come over to the other side. Oops. And crimp in the other channel. And now we've got our first side connected. I'm going to pull my wire over, trim that off. Now we just have one more side to connect. So I'm going to take off that. This is the hard one, but because our bracelet is largely complete, like most everything is connected, this last one might be a little bit easier to crimp than the other second one. So just trying to get my French wire on. Sometimes you'll have to trim up your end just a touch. So that will just give it a cleaner end. Sometimes French wire wants to get a little mucked up at the end. So, all right. So now I'm going to go through that second hole on the clasp. I know I can get it in there. These are magnetic, so anything that's got metal in it is gonna want to connect to it. All right, so then come around and take my wire, go through that bead and the crimp tube, and then pull that down. And I'm going to give everything kind of a tug. So tug it from both ends, but also make sure that it's not in a straight line. And now I got to get in there again to get that second crimp. So you're going to have to kind of wiggle in with your crimping pliers, and I'm going to pull my wire tight again. So this takes a touch of patience, you guys, but you can do it. So give that its full crimp and trim off that excess. And oh my goodness, I am crazy in love with this piece. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to try to anyway. on camera. So here's my slide clasp. Oh my goodness, I love this. This is so, so pretty. Such a Prestige does this so right. So here's your other variation possibility from what I've got with me today. You could do this crystal and peridot. So, so pretty. Oh my gosh. Let me show you in front of the camera. I love this. You guys, I love this. So this is one of my new favorite things, is our Prestige Crystal 2-hole bead bracelet. If you are a member of the Serious Art Beaters Facebook group, I will put a little video in so you guys can get a closer look at this. Thank you for the hearts. Thanks, Julie. This is beautiful. So recap for today while you guys are checking out, because you'll want to check out of your carts. Some things are in limited stock, so you want to grab those. Thank you, Monica. So few things to recap. Today is the last day of Prestige-Athon. But you can get up to 35% off of Prestige through the end of today. I don't know if the iron-on is still available, but that's a gift with purchase for everything. Regardless of value, you can get that small mix of beads, that mix for $75 or more. That's a gift with purchase. You can also get one of the mystery mixes that have some amazing things in them. That's for a $99 or more purchase. You can get free USA and Canada shipping with orders of $29 or more. And there is a crystal applicator, a hot fix crystal applicator, still on a special price with that little pack of hot fix crystals, which are gorgeous. This is a must-have. Like, even this is worth the deal, because this is a great thing to have for when you need that little bit of sparkle. And you guys, are so many beautiful things to choose from. Thank you guys for being here today. We all appreciate you so much. We thank you for shopping with artbeads.com. And let's see, tomorrow, I can't remember if Julie is starting a show tomorrow. I think Julie has announced her schedule change, but we'll double check that before we wrap up here. But Wednesday, Julie will be here with her regularly scheduled weekly show. Becky will be here on Thursday. I'll be back Friday afternoon to wrap up the week at 1 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, or no, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Ugh, I got to get more coffee, guys. So we've got a great week planned for you. Stay tuned. Make sure that you are watching this space to see what fun things we have for you next. Thank you all for being here. Share your projects at in the Serious Art Beaters Facebook group. I'll see you on Friday. Have a great week, you guys. Bye now.